In the heart of Europe lies a mysterious and enchanting country, where modernity blends with rich cultural traditions. This country is Austria, renowned not only for its captivating city of Vienna, but also for sparking curiosity with its stunning blonde-haired, blue-eyed women and wealth that cannot be hidden. Every corner of this country is beautiful, from the majestic castles nestled among lush green hills to the peaceful villages with ancient architecture. Special mention goes to Hallstatt, often considered a fairy tale village come to life. Did you know that horse-drawn carriages travel daily in Austria? Well, this is also the birthplace of musical geniuses like Mozart and Beethoven. Let's explore Austria, the land of the most beautiful blonde women in Europe. Number 17. Europe's largest brothel supermarket. The gigantic supermarket is called Fun Motel, with 147 rooms, a capacity to host 1,000 guests daily, about 150 women, a section for buses, a parking lot for 350 cars, and a 3-meter-high wall to ensure privacy. The project is estimated to cost over $19 million. Peter Lascaris, the entrepreneur behind the project, currently runs a brothel in Vienna, Austria. He states that this 4-star hotel is a step forward in transforming the smokeless industry from a grocery store to a supermarket. Fun Motel is a hotspot for bed activities combined with hotel services, beauty salons, and gyms. The development company, 8 Quadrant Developers based in Vienna, claims that the number of women and the affordable pricing will definitely satisfy male customers. However, many Austrians believe Fun Motel promotes illegal activities, leading to an increase in human trafficking. What do you think about this supermarket in Austria? Please share your thoughts. Number 16. The most beautiful women in Central Europe. First, the people aren't very tall. While the average Austrian man might stand at 180 centimeters, women seem to lower this average. And statistics show that Austrian women average 166 centimeters in height. If you look closely, both men and women tend to have blue or green eyes. Austrian women in particular tend to have small facial features and are generally petite. Furthermore, these people typically have fair to light brown skin, and blonde hair seems almost natural. When these features come together, they strongly resemble Germans and slightly resemble Swedes in terms of facial genetics. Both older and middle-aged people tend to have a serious look in Vienna squares. Younger individuals between 18 and 25 are more likely to smile, while older individuals appear more disciplined and stricter. If you point your camera at the young people, they are never shy in front of the camera, they smile and pose. This could mean that young people in this country not only look good, but feel happy physically and mentally. It must be said that everyone here looks wealthy and prosperous. However, Vienna lacks warmth and friendliness. If you head to Prague in the Czech Republic 4 hours north, you'll feel a warmer atmosphere. This is not the case in Vienna, where people seem to be competitive with body language that suggests no one cares about anyone else. There are also many tattooed people in Austria, just like in the Czech Republic. In Vienna, people from all walks of life can have tattoos and piercings in the most unexpected places on their bodies. There's a lot of diversity in society, and what you do or don't do with your body is entirely up to you, and no one interferes. Even if you're overweight, no one will judge or look at you disapprovingly. In Vienna, you'll only see many young, beautiful blonde girls and many attractive, wealthy men on the streets. Number 15. The most livable city. Back in Vienna, it's worth mentioning that in 2024, many research companies ranked Vienna as the most livable city in the world. Although it doesn't always top the list every year, Vienna has consistently ranked in the top 5 livable cities worldwide. In fact, in 2018, Vienna was named the best and most livable city in the world. Vienna often competes with Zurich in this category. Therefore, both Austrians and immigrants moving to Austria for a better life should consider themselves fortunate. Both Zurich in Switzerland and Vienna in Austria make Europe proud in this regard. While we will talk more about the beauty and atmosphere of Vienna, it's important to note that although Austria is small, it has one of the richest and most historic pasts. However, one thing is certain, Austria is very safe. There's almost no chance something bad will happen to you without reason in the capital city. You won't be harmed by anyone, and it's tough to be harmed by dogs either. I haven't seen any stray dogs in the city, and owners of aggressive dogs have put protective gear on their dogs' muzzles. So even if the dogs get aggressive, they won't bite you. In Vienna, where you can hardly find any trash on the ground, people are responsible for throwing garbage into green bins. They dispose of glass bottles in green-lidded bins, paper and plastic waste in yellow-lidded bins. Viennese take pride in the cleanliness of their city to the point that they don't even encourage throwing cigarette butts on the ground. You'll often see orange and gray plastic bins by the roadside specifically for cigarette butts. Safety in Vienna is very high. Many important places in the city have police patrols. These patrols do not interfere with people unless there's an unusual situation, allowing both locals and tourists to move about safely. Would you like to live in this country? Please share your thoughts. Number 14. The house where Hitler was born. Braunau am Inn, a town near the German border, is home to the house where Adolf Hitler was born. On this street stands a faint beige 3-story brick building where Hitler was born on April 20, 1889. Hitler only lived here for a few weeks before his family moved to another house in Braunau. At the age of 3, Hitler's family left this town permanently. Later, Hitler returned briefly in 1938. The 17th century building was later turned into a guest house and changed owners. After Hitler became the leader of the Nazis, its value quadrupled. The house was purchased by the Nazis, renovated, and turned into a cultural center with an exhibition and public library. After World War II, the house was returned to its original owners and became a public library by 1965. Over the years, the location attracted many visitors. The Austrian Ministry of the Interior was concerned about the potential rise of neo-Nazi activities, so in 1972, they rented the building to prevent Hitler's supporters from visiting or purchasing it. Currently, the house's owner, Gerlinde Palmer, is suing the Austrian government for seizing the property as it plans to turn it into a police station. What are your thoughts on this? Feel free to share your opinions. Number 13. Austria produces and consumes a lot of delicious wine. Austria is one of the top 15 wine exporting countries and among the 10 largest wine consumers per capita. The stunning riverbanks of the Wachau Valley offer wines with earthy flavors and breathtaking views. There are 35 types of wine approved in Austria. However, most Austrian wines focus on Grüner Veltliner, Zweigelt, and Blaufränkisch. Grüner Veltliner is considered a wine with an herbal, slightly sour taste with a hint of spiciness. It is often compared to Sauvignon Blanc due to its green pepper and pea pod notes. Most Grüner Veltliner wines are affordably priced. Zweigelt, the most widely grown red grape in Austria, produces light red wines similar to Grenache or Gamay and is typically not aged in oak. Due to the cool climate, Zweigelt wines have a slightly bitter finish. Decanting Zweigelt for about an hour before drinking enhances its flavor, and its bitter aftertaste can develop into richer fruit notes, such as black cherries and raspberries. Number 12. Hallstatt, the most beautiful lakeside town in the world. Hallstatt, located between the cities of Salzburg and Graz in the Salzkammergut tourist region, is one of Europe's oldest towns with fairy tale-like beauty. With about 1,000 residents, Hallstatt is a small town. During off-peak seasons, only a few shops and restaurants are open, making it difficult to find overnight accommodation. Therefore, booking a hotel room is considered one of the most important tasks of your trip. Additionally, the cost of living in Hallstatt is quite high. In addition to its picturesque beauty, Hallstatt is famous for salt, being home to the oldest salt mine in the world, dating back 7,000 years. Thanks to this salt mine, the town's residents have enjoyed a prosperous life. Although salt production is no longer the town's main industry, visitors often buy a small jar of salt as a souvenir. One must-visit site in Hallstatt is the Heritage Museum, which displays artifacts that tell the town's history, including ancient salt mining tools such as hammers, axes, shovels, and everyday items like bowls, cups, and Iron Age jewelry. Would you like to visit this village? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 11. Many wonderful amenities. One of the great conveniences in Austria is the weight-measuring devices located near bus stations, where people can easily step on to check their weight. Another important public service is the free drinking water stations, cleverly cooled with solar energy. You can fill your bottle with ice-cold water at these stations, enjoying the convenience as if you were buying water from a store. Interestingly, the taste of this water is often better than bottled water sold in shops, offering a pleasant surprise to the taste buds. Considering that Vienna uses the euro and is ranked as one of the most expensive cities in Europe, taking advantage of these free cold water stations instead of buying bottled water can lead to significant savings. Especially on weekends when most supermarkets are closed, You may find yourself paying excessively if you buy water from kiosks operated by Turkish and South Asian vendors at subway stations. These kiosks often sell half-liter bottles for around €1.50, with prices increasing quickly. Therefore, if you're thirsty while exploring the city, look for these free water stations in tourist-heavy areas to quench your thirst without additional cost. Moreover, dog owners often use these stations to provide water and cool down their pets, ensuring everyone stays comfortable during their adventures in Vienna. Another common feature in Vienna, often seen in Arab countries, is public cooling fountains. Although Vienna's climate is much milder than that of the Arab world, these cooling points are still available for public use. If you feel too hot, you can stand under these fountains to cool off, making them a great service on hot summer days. Number 9. Smooth transportation system. Let's talk a little bit about the transportation system of this praised city. First of all, the transportation system in Vienna operates very smoothly and systematically. If you want to travel from the airport to the city center and back, the Austrian government offers two important services. The first is the city airport train, a luxurious and fast train system that takes you from the airport to the city in 16 minutes. Of course, this system is a bit expensive and you need to buy a ticket for €15 per person. The second system is the S7, a more affordable train system that runs around the city. Some of the subway and rail systems in the city may be old. If you encounter older trains, you will need to open the subway doors yourself. You need to buy a ticket at the entrance to the subway and rail systems, but there are no turnstiles in this country, like in the Czech Republic. Therefore, some people may board these train systems illegally. The train systems you can quickly use in Vienna are called U-Bahn, and you will see blue U signs at these subway stations. If you are traveling shorter distances in Vienna, trams are the solution to your problem. There is a tram system on almost every street in the city, and people can reach their desired destination by tram without having to walk. If you only take the subway or tram once, the ticket can be expensive and you may need to pay €3 per ride. However, you can travel more affordably in Vienna by purchasing a weekly pass. Of course, there are taxis in the city, but if you are coming from a country with a lower currency than EU member states, avoid taking taxis. Taxi drivers can charge up to €50 for a trip under 20 kilometers, and Austria is one of them. Number 8. Direct and blunt personalities. Austrians typically do not prefer to speak in vague terms when something displeases them. In other countries, indirect communication is often favored in everyday conversations. However, don't be surprised if you hear somewhat blunt remarks regarding your appearance or behavior when speaking to an Austrian. This is because Austrians highly value honesty and do not like to say things that aren't true or be overly polite for the sake of it. For example, if you ask an Austrian something like, "Do I look fat in this?" it's not surprising if the answer you receive is yes, if that's the truth. Compared to other cultures, Austrians are often perceived as very blunt. However, don't worry. This should be understood as honest feedback, not as discrimination or offense. Number 7. Horse carriages in the city. When sitting somewhere in Austria and observing your surroundings, you might suddenly spot horse-drawn carriages appearing in the flow of traffic. It's important to note that horse-drawn carriages are particularly famous in Vienna. The coachmen pick up tourists at the city's most popular landmarks and give them a guided tour of the city while riding on horseback. Not only do they take passengers around, but they also provide verbal descriptions of the landmarks they visit. These horse-drawn tours are not a modern invention. The tradition of horse-drawn carriages in Central European cities, like the Czech Republic and Austria, dates back to the 17th century. This form of transportation has become a cultural symbol in these societies. Unfortunately, it is the horses that bear the brunt of this tradition. The streets of Vienna are designed to accommodate their use. For example, almost all main streets have dedicated lanes for bicycles and pedestrians. If you're on the bike or scooter lane, you could be quickly knocked over by cyclists speeding by, which can be dangerous for both parties. Number 6. High average income. Today, Austria is one of the wealthiest countries in the world with a high per capita income. Various sources rank Austria among the top 20 wealthiest countries. For example, according to Forbes, Austria is ranked 14th on the list of the richest countries in 2024. This means the average annual income per person in Austria is about $60,000. Austria is also strong in manufacturing and branding. Famous global brands like Red Bull, Spar supermarkets, and Swarovski jewelry are headquartered in Austria. Speaking of supermarkets, if you visit Austria, especially Vienna, you will notice that large supermarkets are closed on Saturdays and Sundays. Therefore, if you are planning a short weekend visit, make sure to take care of your grocery needs beforehand. On average, people in Austria earn between 4,000 and 5,000 euros per month. On the official websites of famous car brands, you'll see that new Toyota cars are sold in Vienna for between 20,000 to 30,000 euros. New models from German giants like Mercedes and BMW are priced between 30,000 to 60,000 euros. Although these prices may seem high for new cars, you can still find used cars for just half the price. With luxury models appearing on the streets, Austrians may prefer to buy new cars. Apartments in Vienna are generally small in terms of square meters. A one-bedroom apartment averages about 45 square meters, and rents for around 1,500 euros per month. Renting a two-bedroom apartment of more than 60 square meters comfortably costs over 2,000 euros. In other words, to support yourself in Austria, even with a one-bedroom apartment, you would need a net income of 3,000 euros per month. If you have a net income above 5,000 euros, a family of four can live a decent life in the city. What do you think about this income level? Share your thoughts. Number 5. The birthplace of classical music. For a long time, Austria has been known as the homeland of many great composers. Among them is Johann Strauss, the founder of the Vienna Waltz, famously known as the King of Waltz. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, Vienna was a leading musical center. Not only was it home to many great musicians and composers who performed here, but their legacies continue in the city's theaters to this day. In addition, Vienna was home to great composers such as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Johannes Brahms. The city of Salzburg in Austria is a world-class destination for live music performances. Every summer, the city hosts the famous Salzburg Festival, along with smaller, more affordable festivals at other times of the year. Throughout the year, you can enjoy exciting concerts at historic venues across the town. Whether tourism-centric or a Sunday mass concert, Austria seems to be brimming with visiting bands and choirs, all hoping to perform where so many great artists have created beautiful music over generations. Even in Austria's small towns, you can feel the special passion for music. Number 4. Air conditioning is rare. In a country where the weather rarely gets too hot, Austrians never feel the need for air conditioning. Therefore, you will only find a few hotels in Austria with air conditioning. In most places, it's considered unnecessary. Many Austrians believe that using air conditioning is an unnecessary luxury, a waste of energy, and bad for health because it creates a large temperature difference. According to a user in Austria, installing air conditioning is quite expensive and complicated. You can't just buy one and install it yourself. It must be done through a company or a professional service. To become an air conditioning technician, you also need professional certification. The cost of purchasing, installing, and maintaining an air conditioner can add up to 2,500 euros. Some regions in Austria also have strict rules about installing air conditioning, such as not allowing them to be placed on the exterior of buildings. The outdoor unit must be placed on the roof or on the ground, which requires long copper pipes, thus making the cost even higher than the initial price of the air conditioner. Number 3. Unique architecture. In Vienna, where you can hardly find any litter on the ground, residents are responsible for throwing their trash into green bins. They place glass bottles in green-lidded bins and paper and plastic waste in yellow-lidded bins. Vienna prides itself on having countless architecturally significant buildings, each showing a unique blend of historical importance and aesthetic appeal. Most of these buildings are meticulously constructed with pure white and various elegant shades of white, reflecting timeless charm. These centuries-old buildings stand tall and magnificent as if they were created just yesterday, their grandeur unchanged by time. As you walk through the charming streets of Vienna, you will encounter photo-worthy buildings at every turn, each a testament to the city's rich architectural heritage. For example, there's a masterpiece on Ring Street in the bustling city center, the Austrian Parliament building, widely regarded as one of the most architecturally beautiful parliamentary buildings in the world. Built by a famous Danish architect between 1873 and 1883, the project lasted an entire decade. Unfortunately, the building you see today is not the same as the original, as it was severely damaged during World War II. However, the resilient Austrians meticulously restored it without changing the original design and proudly reopened it to the public in 1956. If you wish, you can take photos in front of the building or go further and visit inside. Right next to it, you'll find another magnificent building, the Vienna City Hall. You'll always see the Austrian flag flying atop important buildings. The Austrian flag consists of red and white horizontal stripes, and some say it's the oldest flag still in use today, dating back to the 12th century. Number 2. Coffee culture in Austria. In Vienna, the capital of Austria, coffee drinking has been elevated to an art form, a cultural tradition that UNESCO has recognized as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. In Vienna, finding a cafe, ordering a cup, and doing whatever you like is a common activity. Vienna's cafes are considered public living rooms where many people go to drink coffee, eat pastries, and read newspapers. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many cafes in Austria were popular meeting spots for artists and intellectuals. Many authors wrote in these public cafes, and their literary work is referred to as coffeehouse culture. Coffee in Vienna is considered a specialty due to its uniqueness. The special Viennese coffee is called Einspanner, usually served in tall glass cups with black coffee at the bottom, topped with a layer of cream and a sprinkle of powdered sugar, sometimes garnished with a small biscuit. Coffee is always served with a glass of water and some delicious pastries. Vienna's cafes have different styles in terms of interior and decoration, but all exude romance and elegance, from classic tablecloths to silver spoons placed neatly on cups. Some cafes are crowded, yet Austrians still love and choose them because they feel the ambiance of the 19th century. People enjoy admiring classic paintings, chandeliers hundreds of years old, and even the old-fashioned tablecloths. Number 1. The official language is German. The official language of Austria is German. A significant portion of the population speaks Bavarian German, and Hungarian is also widely spoken. With 2% of the population being Turkish, and another 2% being Serbian and Bosnian, these minority communities often speak their native languages. Statistics show that 82% of the Austrian population is Austrian and speaks German. When you walk around, you will notice that most signs in the city are written in German, reflecting the widespread use of this language. So we've explored the country of the most beautiful blonde women in Central Europe. What do you think of the girls in Austria or the oddities of this country? Be sure to comment and let us know. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get the latest videos from us. See you in the next video.